Hallo Cliquenabendler, wir sind bei Gryphon Games. Next to me is Vital. Hi Vital.
Hello everybody.
You are the master of big box games.
Well, I don't know if I am the master, but yeah, I usually do complex games.
With a lot of theme.
With a lot of pieces inside and with a lot of theme, yeah. I do the best for it, yeah.
Your newest game is Lisboa. What's the theme? Okay,
Lisboa is a game about my hometown. I was born and lived in Lisboa, so I have a lot of material to research and include a great team into the box. So Lisboa is a game about an earthquake that happens in 1755 that completely destroyed the old Lisboa, and three persons the most important nobles of the time decided to rebuild Lisboa again. A new Lisboa, the one that is there now.
So we have the game here. It's a lot of the color blue on the board.
Yeah, the color blue was exactly the color that was decorating most of the buildings at that time.
Okay? Is that?
Yeah. These are all tiles. They are called azulejos in Portugal because azul means blue. Okay, so the Portuguese tiles are very known all over Europe because of this color, the blue color, and we can find a lot of buildings still today decorated completely, palaces, normal homes, completely decorated with these tiles. They are beautiful, man, I think, but that's the reason why the game is so blue. It's because we had to incorporate a theme from that time.
So what are the basic mechanics on the board? I think here there are four already.
It looks like a lot of mechanics, but I usually prefer to teach the game around the team, explain the team, because it's much easier for the players to understand what they're doing in this game. Okay, the idea of the game is just rebuild Lisboa. Okay, and what we have here is the original map plan of Lisboa downtown. If you visit Lisboa right now, you can find the same streets. We have four main streets with the same name still there. Okay, so we use the original map to rebuild Lisboa. These three most important peoples were the Marquis de Pombal, the first minister, the prime minister, the king, and the royal builder. They decided to rebuild a new, completely modern city with wide open streets and very modern buildings, but they have to rebuild Lisboa as faster as they can, okay, and as cheaper as possible. So what they used was the rubble that was left by the old buildings to reuse it, and to bring the new walls of the city. This guy invented a system that is called Gaiola Pombalina, because this is Marquis de Pombal. He invented the system. It means Pombalin cage. The Pombalin cage is a system that you can see in these beautiful player boards. Okay, that is a structure of wood that they refill with rubble. So he invented a system that is also anti-earthquake, because the walls filled with rubble could move in case of earthquake, but didn't fall. You know, so it works because the buildings are still there, so are the same buildings yet. So people are using this rubble to rebuild the city. One of the nice things now, if you don't know the history of Lisboa, is that Lisboa is right now built 1 meter over the level of the river, precisely because it was rebuilt with the rubble on the top of the rubble. Okay, so you are doing exactly this in this game. So every time you build a new store, a new building, you are cleaning up rubble from the streets. At the end of the game, most of the rubble here does not exist. So Lisboa is almost rebuilding. But the nice thing is that we are also nobles helping these guys to rebuild the city. So when you build a new building, we also want to open a shop to develop your business. So the game ends up by being an economic game, okay? So when you build a shop, you are producing one kind of goods. Why? Because this guy decided that the city must be so organized that in each main street can only have one kind of business. This street is called Rua Áurea, means Gold Street. It's still there, but only business connected with gold could be opened in this street. And people are doing this in the game. Every time you open a store on the Rua Áurea, Golden Street, you produce gold. Okay? So in this street you produce clothes. In this one you produce books, and this one you produce tools. So that is precisely the goods you have to deal during the game. Okay? So We have time yet? Okay. Okay. So, but remember one thing. Lisboa is completely destroyed, right? Everything was desert. So the state decided that to bring new life to the cities of Lisboa, they have to build public buildings. So rebuilding Lisboa needs public buildings because everybody is unemployed. They have to have public buildings to give jobs to the people. So there is a mechanic in the game that the player who gives more jobs at the end of the game gets more points than the other game. So okay, but these buildings will bring people to new business, right? So, and if you build this building here, you notice that they have two colors.
Yes.
This building will bring people to the orange streets and people to the
Purple. No.
to the purple closed streets.
Close to purple.
Doesn't matter. To the closed streets. So it means that both golds and closed business will score a number of points. Okay, so you are scoring for the other players too. This makes the game very interactive. Okay, the fun thing is that it can place also a public building in the other side of the street. This will bring people to the orange, to the gold street, and also to the two street. There are nobody here, but this store will score again 5 points. So this guy with one store already gets 10 points, and you can do this again on the top. So 50 points for only one score. So this game is very strategic, but also have tactical play, because if the scenario is like this, you can build here and get immediately 5 multiplied by 3. So okay, so the game is really fun, and this is the base of the game on Lisboa. Okay, more stuff that is cool for you to. I have time, right? Yeah. Okay, the boats was the base of the development of the economy. Okay, because we have colonies on Brazil, and Brazil brings gold to us. This gold helps to rebuild the city, of course. So players can build with it. Oh, I didn't explain this because in the beginning the earthquake destroyed the city. But it was 1 November, all day Saints, people was at the churches with light candles, and we had 3 days of fire. And after this, who survived ran to the river, and the tsunami came from the river.
Oh,
so not
bad.
a good week for the Lisbon people. So all the boats, we have fleets of ships at that time that was completely destroyed because of the tsunami. So the rebuilding the ships is an important part of the game also, because we need ships to trade and to develop the economy. So it's cool in the game because when the players build ships, they place the ships on the docks in their portfolio, okay? So, but any player can sell goods to all the ships in the game, okay? But the owner of the ship, when the ship is filled, sells away, the owner gets points in exchange. So it's another part where this is very interactive in the game, okay? So more stories here. There is a nice story that I like to tell every time. I really like the theme of the city town. So.
And I didn't know that.
No, I lived there.
It's so long ago, right?
Yeah. It's a little for 250 years already.
Yeah.
So okay. So the Marquis, the king was a very religious guy, very religious man, and he blamed God because of the destruction of Lisbon. So he ran away. But before he ran away, they gave all the powers to the Marquis. Marquis liked power, and he wants even more. So at that time, the Inquisition still reigned on Lisboa. In Portugal, we had still Inquisition, but the Inquisition has a lot of power, as many people know, right? So the Marquis decided to end up the Inquisition, not because he was a good man, but because he wants the power to him, and the church was a menace against him, okay? So there is a cool mechanic in the game, where the players move the cardinal to take church powers of the church that completely changes the rules and give you a lot of advantage. But when the when the cardinal arrives this spot again, the Marquis says, if you want to be faithful to me, you have to discard all the tiles of the church. So this is a historical event that happens in the game. And this is a very difficult decision because these tiles are really powerful. And I have a very good engine running in my game, so I like this. So, but if I want the points in the back of the tiles, I have to lose this power. Okay? And you never know if the clergy gives more turns to score again. So it's a good, nice mechanics that shows, in fact, the rivalry between the Prime Minister and the church. Okay? So this game is full of these stories. And I wrote them all on the rulebook. Okay, so when you learn the mechanics, you can understand how is this connected with the history. And sorry, just to finish, I really like to say all the players to, I'm sorry, don't skip the favorite parts in the game because they will make you understand well what are you doing in the game. It's much easier to understand to play this game. This is a complex game, you know, so if you understand what you're doing, it's much easier to play it.
How did you do the research for the history thing?
Well, it's my town, right?
Yes.
It's much easier to get information. I have this information everywhere.
So you asked some guys or you read a lot?
Yeah, I read it. I always research a lot in the internet, of course, about the teams I'm working on. But we have libraries full of information about the earthquake.
Which didn't burn down.
Which didn't burn down. Well, so I have, in all the cards, I have a small event that is flavored. The players can read about it, okay? And it really happens. One of the events is one of the libraries that we lost a lot of documents at that time on the fires. It was a story that this guy, it was an old man, and he ran away to one of the libraries to save a lot of documents. He was a hero with almost 80 years. So okay, at that time he's very old, right? Not now, he can reach 80 years, right? So yeah, I hope players enjoy the history behind the game, but they have to understand and read the rule book in a way that they learn a little bit about the history of my country.
All right, great. Okay. So that's another gamer's game by you.
That's another game
with a lot of themes in it.
Well, the game, have a lot of theme, and the game is not difficult to play because what you have to do, you deal with the five hand cards, 5 cards in your hand, and you play a card, you take the action, and you get another card. That's your turn. So really easy. Okay.
All right. Wish you a nice fair till Sunday, and thanks for your time here at the fair.
Hey, I'm sorry for my voice.
Oh, I think the voice is fine.
I'm explaining the game for 2 days in a row, so okay. Thank you for having me here.
And I think I will see you next year or in 2 years with another one, right?
Probably next year I have another game, not as heavy as this one. And it's even with a lighter theme because it's about movies that I like.
All right.
Okay, so like Ocean's 11, it's a theme around Ocean's 11 or Bullet, that kinds of movies. So it is lighter because I need a rest from these monsters, you know. It's not easy to design these games. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time. But I will had another one. Okay.
Looking forward to your easier one then next year.
Well, it will be easier. We played it yesterday. Seems like people is liking, so
all right.
I'm happy with it. Okay.
We will see.
Thank you for having me again.
Right.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So nice.
See you next year.
See you next year.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.